What's your worst birthday memory? When I was 8, my godmother bought me a bike, a girl's bike, for my birthday. It was pink and had streamers. She meant well. My parents explained that she chose it because it was the bike she always wanted when she was a little girl, but never got. Still, it was hard as an 8-year-old boy to pretend I was happy with it knowing friends would tease me about it. I get that she had always wanted the bike, but why buy that for a boy? That's messed up. When I was 5, my mom threw a birthday party and nobody but family came. It affects me to this day. I love throwing parties with lots of people, but have a ton of insecurities about whether people like me or just my parties. You like to throw parties, but also have insecurities about your own parties. You should be a party planner. Plan people's parties and get paid to do it. I'd want to come to one of your parties. And that's saying something, because I'm a homebody and don't like people. Haha. My older cousin's birthday is 3 days after mine, so my family tends to just skip mine and focus on his. I decided one year to throw a party for my birthday at my house. I paid for all the food and drinks and decorations. Had my mom help me set everything up. Had a bar set up with drinks. Had a buddy of mine DJ. Everyone shows up, most of which ignored even saying happy birthday to me. And my aunt, not my cousin's mom, who didn't even say anything to me upon arriving, gifted my cousin a 2-week trip to Europe fully paid for, and then made my entire party sing happy birthday to him and not even acknowledge me. And mind you, I threw this party for me because I have always been the outcast of my family, and though hey, if I throw it for myself maybe they will actually be nice to me and not in a material way. I just wanted some attention from my family, who has always shut me out from everything. Needless to say, I don't talk to any of them besides maybe once during the holidays, and it's always the obligated "Hey, how you been?" Sometimes life is better when you're completely alone and accept it. My birthdays were notoriously bad. My parents were always threatening to ground me because I was pushing it by asking to do things to celebrate my birthday. One of the last birthday parties I had with my parents, I asked to invite a whole bunch of friends and their families over for a bonfire and a BBQ. We lived on 5 acres of land and my dad had a PA sound system, so we always had these great bonfire parties. There were a few of my close friends that I couldn't invite because parents didn't like their parents. My dad told me that he wasn't going to play any of my music because people wouldn't like it. Instead he played country music, which the party goers actually complained about. The whole thing turned into a generic party for my mom and dad. My birthday last month. I was pretty depressed. Everyone forgot my birthday. I got my period without any pads available. I forgot my lunch at home. And when I texted my friends asking if they still wanted to hang out after I had made some plans with them, it turns out they weren't able to show up anymore. So I took a bath, which broke the f***ing faucet somehow, and then went to eat some of my birthday cake made the day prior, and of which I had had only one slice, and discovered my brother had eaten it all. I know it's not super deep or anything, but that was a shitty day. Got an box for my room. Wanted to copy the saves from my old box to my new one. Ended up copying the fresh drive onto the old one, wiping all the data clean. Years of gaming, gone. Poof. I cried as the E-station waiting staff sang me happy birthday. True story. And you wanna tell me about your bad birthdays? Pathetic. I found out my girlfriend of 2.5 years had been cheating on me for 7 months with my best friend. She was sitting next to me on her phone when a notification from him came up, which she quickly swiped away. Later she left her phone at my house, and after just taking a glance, I knew what had happened. I had plans to go with my dad to see Megadeth live in concert. This was supposed to be a surprise, but my dad kinda ruined it when he blatantly asked, "Would you prefer floor or balcony seats?" I just found out 3 days ago, though, that Dave Mustaine, Megadeth's lead singer, had been diagnosed with throat cancer and that nearly all of their upcoming shows were cancelled. Family forgot my 14th birthday. I quietly told them at the end of the day. My dad yelled at me for not speaking up sooner, while my mom denied she forgot and was just waiting for the surprise. The surprise was $10 in a brown sack lunch bag. For context, that same year my sister's 15th birthday took place in a country club, and she got a brand new car she wanted, even though she couldn't drive for another year. I got the last laugh though, because I'm 100% independent from my family and happy, while my sister is 39, divorced, and has been living with my parents for the past 4 years to save up, although she still spends all her and my parents' money on designer clothes. Every single one. The reason was because my uncle, whom was a huge man-child, insisted on having a bigger birthday party than my own. I was his junior by at least 30 years. Why have a stick measuring contest with someone that much younger than you? But here's the kicker. He died a couple years ago. My first party was when I was 30, and I insisted on no party. I had one imposed anyway, and his granddaughter took it upon herself to proclaim her sexuality to everyone there, like it's a coming out thing. All the while, his widow, my actual blood relative aunt, was crying the whole time and belittling said granddaughter that lives with her. This past year, nearly same exact scenario. Next year, who knows? I don't want to. I'm going to head for the hills when it comes and take my immediate family with me. My wife, my child, myself, no one else. I can't stand my birthday. My family never really cared enough to do anything special for me on my birthday. On my 30th birthday a few years ago, I thought if there was ever going to be a time when they either did something or got something for me, it would be for my 30th. I ended up having to bake my own cake, and they ordered pizza and didn't let me choose the toppings. I also got $163, which I assume is all the cash they had between themselves. It was probably my first party with friends. I'd like to say I was probably 7, and I was addicted to Legos. I had Ninjago sets that I liked a lot, and at the party I let people in my room, and I don't think that I'll ever forget how devastated I was when I found out they'd destroyed all the sets and built other things with them. That was the last time I'll let friends over for my birthday for a while, man. And, knowing from experience, once those sets are destroyed, they never get put back together. They're all scrap pieces now. I worked as a cashier/delivery driver at this Japanese restaurant when I was in college that had this really mean owner named Carol. She was so terrible that we had a revolving door of people quitting after a day of working with her. After a while she would warm up to you a bit and be a little kinder, but she could still be very difficult most days. Had been working there around 4 or 5 months, and she was starting to teach me to make sushi rolls. I wasn't that great at them and had to take it really slowly to do them right, but it got to the point where if it was slow and we got a simple order, she would let me take care of it. It was kind of fun for me, and I wanted to learn how to be better, so I didn't mind. I was working there on my birthday one year, and we get a customer come in for simple avocado rolls, so Carol tells me to handle it while she goes out back and has a cigarette. I take care of it, but after she left we had a bunch more people walking and asking for rolls, some that I didn't feel confident enough to make at that point since they involved being topped with fish. I step out back to see where Carol was, and she was nowhere to be found. I had to come back and struggle to make the rolls that I knew how, while apologizing profusely to the customers, explaining that I was just the cashier and had no idea where the sushi chef was. About 10 to 15 minutes later Carol finally comes back, and instead of being sorry for stepping out, she yells at me for being too slow in helping the customers out. She apologizes to them for me and quickly makes their orders, and at the same time belittling me by saying stuff like, "See, that wasn't so hard." I was so embarrassed and pissed off at her. I was so close to quitting that night. I didn't speak to her again all night, and she could tell I was upset and asked why I was mad. I told her it was my birthday, and she made me feel like complete shit, which I didn't appreciate. She laughed and told me to learn to take a joke, and then told me to come tomorrow, which was my day off, and she'd make it up to me with a free sushi dinner for me and my girlfriend. Free sushi was not enough to make up for making me feel so shitty on my birthday. When I was little, one of my friends literally threw a screaming fit and clung on for dear life when her parents tried to get her out of the car to attend my party. When I was 18, my mum forgot because it was also Easter. Then I got stood up by the friends who were supposed to be meeting me at a bar. There was also one year I'd just moved to a new city, knew nobody, so I took myself to the cinema for a Keanu Reeves film. The projector broke about 10 minutes in. Most of my birthdays have ended up being just forgetably mediocre. My mother had just moved us in with our stepdad. It was summer. They met that winter and we moved in the spring. Yanked us out of our schools and we went to tiny horrible local schools. It was a miserable time and my new stepdad was very unpleasant, and it escalated to emotional abuse quickly. I was not allowed to have contact with any of my friends, the friends I grew up with. No email, nothing. So they tell me I can have a small birthday party and invite my friends, the ones I miss and grew up with. I'm so excited. They make plans. I make plans. My parents have me clean the entire house, and I do it all. Happily, I finally felt heard. The day before, after doing yard work because party, my mum calls me out to the garage and says she's sorry, but the party won't be happening. She's contacted my friend's parents and it's all off. Why? My stepdad is having a friend to visit that day, on my birthday. I was gutted. The day of my birthday is not acknowledged beyond a verbal happy day at breakfast, to the point where when it finally came up during the visit with stepdad's friend, this friend looks pretty appalled. I didn't know it was your birthday and he seemed so sad and confused. That night my mum said she and my stepdad were going to a coffee place. I asked to come. Maybe a donut? No. You can stay here, right? That stupid pleading mom face where they ask your permission not to prioritize you. It sucked. A super sweet 15 lol. For absolutely nothing in return you can join my Discord server. Link in description.